Hey, how's it going, guys? And where I last left off, I primed and assembled. We're not going to go. Now we're moving on to paint. And today, I just started halfway mark. As you can tell, this is the overall gloss sea blue color I've been using from LifeColor. It's not a bad paint so far. Well, at least the gloss part's actually not half bad. This is actually a pretty good paint. I found it great for hand brushing. Airbrushing, still a little tricky, but I'm getting there. So far, I found what works best for the LifeColor gloss is 2/3 paint to 1/3 thinner, which happens to be this here. Whenever I pick up a thinner, I pick up a bigger bottle than I really need, because I don't use that much, and we'll move on to the subject. Anyway, since there are two things I learned with the LifeColor paints, whether it's gloss or flat. One, you do not use anything alcohol-based if you're going to thin the paint. Even this, and this is a really good thinner. You could use it with almost anything. The Testers, the Tamiya, of course, Gonzangio, even Vallejo if you need to, but you can't use it with the LifeColor. It is definitely a water-based paint. Now, I say this for this reason. With alcohol, it will coagulate, it will clog up in the airbrush. That's the second thing. And two, the flat isn't so bad, but the gloss suffers some same curses Harmbrol enamels from my experiences. It takes forever to dry. I mean, even after half an hour, it'll still feel tacky to the touch. This is especially true if you're working in humid weather. And unfortunately today, it was 95 degrees and the humidity was high, and so was the heat index. I was taking apart a shed outside. Talk about pain in the ass and sweating my ass off. And unfortunately, in the case with the humidity in the air, I had to empty the moisture trap twice, as you can see here. Let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. Yep. I actually had to empty this twice in the past week. I actually got to empty it again, and I have another moisture trap in my braided hose, which is over here. I actually had to hit the button twice on it. May have to do it again because it's that humid today. Well, it's the Northeast, so it's New Jersey, so we get the 4 seasons. What can you do? Summer isn't over yet. Anyway, so as I was saying about the paint, I would spray this color through a Badger 350. Since it's a single color subject, I usually go with the Badger 350. It's cheap, it's reliable, parts are easily replaceable. I'm using a medium tip in here, which is pretty good for most acrylics and enamels. And despite the initial troubles, it flows rather well. You can get one of these at craft store, hobby shop, ranging anywhere from $35 to $65, depending on what set you get. I have the basic. This is actually the second one I got. My wife picked it up for Christmas for me about a few years back, and it still runs rather well. My other one gave up the ghost after 10 years, but to be fair, these aren't all metal. But it's a good airbrush. Like I said, the thing with the one color job with this is it's very time consuming. Since this paint is still tacky after a couple hours, and from my experience with LifeColor in general, you handle them too much, the paint will start to come off the primer coat because it's still a little tacky. So what I recommend doing is spraying in sections, and that's what I am doing. I'm doing in areas at a time. So right now I'm just holding off for the evening and letting the rest of this dry. I also started working on the landing wheels. I forgot to do the landing gear wheels, the main gear I should say. I did hand brush them. I'm going to probably spray them tomorrow in the next round. Not too sure. Oh, and by the way, I don't use gloves, as you can tell. My thumbs are a little blue, and fingers, so suggestion, use gloves or keep some hand cleaner around to remove. But fortunately, since it's acrylic, it'll come off. Prop has been painted black, same thing. I used a LifeColor, flat black. I'm just going to paint the tips yellow. I got a bottle of Tester's yellow somewhere, or a polyscale, depending on which one I find first. The spinner, I think, is a blue. Well, the spinner hub, where my middle finger is on, I think it's a blue or a silver. I don't remember offhand. That's about it I got for now. Unfortunately, this is a relatively short video, but I figured I'd tell you about the LifeColor paints. And since I'm on about the LifeColor paints, this is actually They're very good paints, but they're not that easy to find. They're actually come out of Europe, and they're not cheap. I picked the LifeColor paints up over at my hobby shop before they closed down last year, which was a long time ago. And generally, as a whole, they're good paints. But like I said, they're not cheap. They're like $5.50 a bottle, but you get a lot for a small bottle. So it's not a bad thing. And I use them every so often. So far, they're not bad. For airbrushing. Hand brushing, they're really good. But airbrushing, they're okay. Just going to take some time. I'm still getting mastering them. I can't master them as well as I could Tamiya or Testers. Their paint range is actually pretty extensive, and most of their colors are quite matched to the federal standard, which is what most U.S. military use for colors. So this saves cross-reference time down considerably, as well as if you're cross-referencing other aircraft like World War II German, British, and whatnot, you can always use them as a base. And LifeColor paints are really extensive. They also have a section dedicated to German Panzer armor. There are no federal standard equivalents, but it does have the RAL equivalent for the German armor. So I do recommend checking everything very, very carefully, along with references and the like. Their lists are extensive. Like I said, they got U.S., you got United States, you got Germany, Italy, Japan, Russia, Israel. But once again, pay attention to references very carefully, and they cover most. You can also get these online. You can order from Europe. You can order from the States, even across in Asia. So they're really not bad. And like I said, this is, as a matter of fact, let me check how the paint is. Yep, still a little tacky. This is probably going to be tacky for at least the next couple hours. So chances are, if I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to have to wait until tomorrow to finish off the rest of this beast. And I had to cover this because the cowling kept popping off. So that'll be the next target, well as the landing gear doors, landing gear, and the wheels. So these are going to be sections at a time, but this is what I'm dealing with, and this is all I got for now. It's a relatively short video. I will keep you updated what's going on, and I will keep you guys posted on the weathering and detailing and decaling. So take it easy. Have a good night.